What does it mean to reincarnate? How does one know that he or she has reincarnated? The best way to describe this great mystery is to look into the eyes of your children and see yourself in them without memory of a past life. How many times have you just stopped and watched your child play? How many times have you stopped and talked to your child and found what he or she thinks about life, their destiny, and purpose for being here? It's easy to look at our children and see mistakes we made and try to correct them when we see them in our children. We often look at our children and see our reflections of bad behavior, but very seldom do we look at them and just see ourselves reincarnated in them. I look at my son and daughter as often as I can, and I see their father and I in them all the time. Sometimes it's even scary to watch them because you make a connection at times where there is no separation between you and them. It's an old saying that women prefer to raise boys and men prefer to raise girls because it's always easy to raise the opposite sex. But have you ever asked yourself why? Why is it easy? Because as women, we often see ourselves in our daughters, and likewise, men often see themselves in their sons. When we see ourselves in our children, some of us turn away from them because we can't stand to see our reflection in our children. We treat them as if they are a mistake. But when we see them as ourselves reincarnated, we can begin to help them on their path because we know we are helping ourselves be better each time we reincarnate. Each child born is born as a new self from the two beings that participated in the process of breeding. When a seed makes its way into the egg, it is reincarnated for a new experience. But it has no memory of itself, so it's born as if it is new to this reality. But parents can know this is not true, because when they look at their children, they see themselves with different personas. They see repeated personalities. This is a glimpse into the mystery of the single cell self being manifested again and again. The real self will always recognize itself in everyone it touches, in everyone it focuses its attention on, and everyone it is willing to see as a reflection of itself. There is only one self ever in existence, and that fluid self is in constant motion, constantly duplicating, constantly manifesting, constantly reincarnating. The real self never dies and only allows that part of itself to wait when it is willing to participate in the one destiny of self-realization. Our children are the process by which we are assisted in waking up. We see ourselves in our children, but we turn away. That is when we should look deeper into the reality that we are one single self and our children are just another expression of ourselves. Mastering this reality called life. Self is life having an experience, and likewise, life is a self having an experience. They are not two, they are one entity and one expression in many forms and states of being. Children allow us the ability, knowledge, not necessarily propositional knowledge of ourselves. Ability knowledge, it simply means you have the ability to do something. Propositional knowledge is simply the fact that you know how that ability is obtained. We look through a glass darkly, one writer says, but it is never dark when you wake up to the realization that you are everywhere at the same time, always existing to experience more of yourself. This experience of yourself is endless. Children are the way we reincarnate ourselves through embodiment. There is nothing new under the sun, some say. How much of yourself do you see in your children? How often have you looked at your child and casually said, "You act just like your father," or "You sound just like your mother"? Why is this important? Because reincarnation is not a process where your spirit enters a new body and you grow up with new parents and live in different societies. Your reincarnation happens when you have children. Now you would ask yourself, what about those who do not have children? Have they reached a state where they no longer reincarnate themselves? Well, I would have to answer that with an emphatic yes. For whatever reason, they can no longer reincarnate themselves, and that is a mystery left to the universe, and the unknown of which we have no right to question, because we don't know how many times they have experienced themselves. Or we don't know how many times they have reincarnated. We don't know why life has decided not to have that particular experience as itself anymore. Who are we to question the experiences life chooses to have? What we can be confident in is this: we never cease to exist, because life is not just about the body or the experience. Life just is, and has existed for as long as there has been embodiment. Apart from embodiment, life is not expressed outside of itself. It can only exist within itself, and that is why we are here. We are life experiencing itself outside itself, yet enclosed within itself. You will never be able to comprehend life outside of embodiment. Hence the unity of the body system and its working parts, pouring forth life's purpose into existence after existence outside itself. The other theory I postulate is reincarnation is necessary when there is a task to be fulfilled, and the individuals breeding themselves are still looking to fulfill a purpose. The other problem that can occur and cause one not to reincarnate is an agreement before birth to exchange reincarnation for status and privilege. That means that the last opportunity you had to come here, you exchanged that opportunity for privilege as opposed to reincarnation. Abortion is one's way of interfering with reincarnation, which means the process of embodiment has ended when there are no children. We cannot forget that not everyone reincarnates, and some for good reasons. Reincarnation is a very important process in the course of life, and often life no longer desires to experience itself in manners that do not support its purpose. Each embodiment is life experiencing itself. Some experiences are no longer necessary. However, each embodiment is life choosing to have an experience or continue an experience. Another theory is when we have children, it is life's way of making different choices out of the many choices we could have made in another embodiment, i.e., lifetime. Each child born fits like a glove in his or her body and immediately begins to animate that body in ways that seem familiar to it because it is once again inhabiting a body. You parent yourself in a new body in ways that you feel are best for assisting the child in living in society. Social sciences call this socialization. However, we look at our children and we try not to repeat what we consider mistakes our parents made when raising us. This is nothing more than you saying, I'm going to make different choices and try something different with this body. Choices that I feel did not work with the old body. I can go on and go on with this theory. There's so much evidence that we can look at to show that our children are nothing more than us reincarnated. They love us and look to us in ways that say, I know I am you having an experience. Children naturally connect to their parents when they are born. The connection is so powerful and natural, it's like a magnetic power cord. As soon as it goes close to the computer, It snaps in place and latches on until it is pulled apart.